Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Tim McGuinness. I'm the Managing Director of the Society of Citizens Against Relationship Scams, SCARS, a government-registered crime victims assistance and crime prevention nonprofit organization based in Miami, Florida, and Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, as well as with offices and affiliates and partners in more than 60 countries around the world. This special conversation is going to allow us to talk with individual scam victims. This is part of a series, so we will be presenting each individual interview, and it gives us an opportunity to talk to scam victims openly, candidly, full transparency. We will not be editing their commentary. We will be presenting it whole, unedited, and complete. What we're talking about today are three topics. The first is to try and get a better feel for the victims around the world, different countries and cultures, about their scam experience itself. We'll talk for a few minutes about that. Then we'll move on to their experience after the scam ended. What was that like for them individually, personally, and also in the context of the country or culture within which they live? And then lastly, to explore a little bit about the challenges of helping, supporting scam victims in different countries and cultures, the barriers that are in the way, the challenges, the opportunities, and to the extent that victims can find support services within those countries. Thank you for joining us, Miss Vietnam. As a scam victim, we want to protect your privacy, so that's the reason why we're not using your real name, and we're very grateful that you're appearing with us today. You are someone who lives in Vietnam, and you were a romance scam victim, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us just a little bit about the scam that happened to you and your experience? You don't have to get into the deep details.
Okay. I was a scam victim, and my scam ended about 1.5 years ago. I still remember that was in September 2 years ago.
Can you move the microphone a little closer to your mouth?
Yes, I started to learn Chinese, so I decided to join in a language learning online app, and I met my scammer on that app. He came up into my chat and introduced, and he asked me to teach him some Vietnamese basic sentences like good morning, hello, how are you in Vietnamese, and I accepted. And by that way, he asked me to join WhatsApp because at that time the app was unstable, and I agreed. So on WhatsApp, he started to talk to me like a real friend. So, and I gradually believed in him that he was a good person. But it was a scam, and I lost a lot of money. I told lies to my friends, my husband, and my families to get the money for him. He asked me at first to help him in an urgent situation. And I still remembered that at that time, I felt like if I didn't help him, that would be very wrong to me. And I was the unkind person. So when I transferred him the first amount of money, I felt like I trust the wrong. I trusted the right person, and many times later, I kept transferring him a lot of money, and after three months knowing him, he disappeared in a silent way, and I started to search for his information by doing a lot of Google search, by going to a lot of websites. And at that time, I came across the word scam that I didn't know of before. And I started to read a lot about scams worldwide, and I realized a lot of people have the same similar stories as me. But the thing is that I didn't know about that before. If I knew, I think I had changed my situation, and I hadn't lost a lot of money like that. I regretted of not knowing a lot about scams before that. Yeah.
And you have been a member of one of our recovery programs, yes?
Yes. After the scam, when I searched for scams information, I joined into a lot of groups related to scams. I mean, related to scams and fighting scams in Facebook. And I remembered on that day, someone posted a link about scars, and she said that for those who are in need for support, they can join this group, and it's free. So I clicked on the link and answered the questions. Didn't know that if I was accepted or not, but yeah, the admin responded me, and I was accepted into the group, and I learned a lot from the group because they provided me with a lot of information and articles and knowledge. I didn't know enough about scams, and that really helped
And
me.
has it helped you?
It helped me a lot, really a lot, because every single night, every day, after I joined the group, I read the articles and I read on the guidelines in the groups. I think I read all the information in the Facebook in the group on the old post, and when I knew that the scam worked like a real business, and they are real experts, it's something relieves me from the guilt and some negative emotions I got at that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about what is it like to be the victim of these kinds of crimes in Vietnam? What is it like from the standpoint of being a woman who is a victim, from the perspective of the culture of Vietnam? How did you find your way through this process, and how does or do other people judge you? How does your culture look at this problem and you as a victim?
It was hard because for my scam, I lied a lot to my husband and families, and even I felt better now. I feel better now, and my husband knows some parts of the stories. He didn't know everything about my romance scam, but he still accepted, and he supported me during the journey. However, deep down in myself, I still feel a lot of guilt because it was wrong, totally wrong, to betray your spouse and betray your family. And it's like you did a lot of things just to earn the money to feed the scammer. So when I think back, I just feel it was very wrong. And when I at the I mean now when I read any articles online about scams, I could see people leaving some comments, still negative comments about the victims' behaviors, like they deserve what they did, because they betrayed people and because they was greedy. And that's why I didn't tell the whole story to my family and my husband, because I knew if he knew all the stories, he may not forgive me.
Take a deep breath and pause for. I know this is very emotional for you, but you do understand that this was not your fault, right?
Yes.
This was something, as we say, every human being. This is one of the strange things about this crime. Every human being has their personal vulnerabilities. And the initial communication is innocent. And that's the only mistake that scam victims ever make, is accepting the contact with the criminal. And after that, you're lured in, you're groomed. In other words, you're prepared, you're manipulated, and then you're controlled to do what the criminal wants you to do. And we both know, because you have been very helpful in trying to help other victims in Vietnam, and we thank you very much for that. You are a real hero in your country. No one knows this, but you are. It is hard to really understand in your soul that you're not at fault. You're not to blame. You did not do this. It was no different than having a conversation with someone on the street. But even a conversation on the street can go the wrong way. So either we all live in complete fear of other people, or we take small chances. But the criminals are expert in exploiting those small chances and turning people into a victim. Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like to help other victims, to share with them the information and let them know that this was something that was done to them? It's not something that they did.
For other victims, I mean, if I know they are a victim as well, I usually ask about their backgrounds, I mean, their stories, and I recommended them to read information, read some related information from websites like SCARS, because they provided a lot of good and useful articles. I helped them to do some like translations, because not all of them know English. Especially I sent them like the articles and information about the how do I say, like psychological articles. And
Right.
The questions they usually raise to me a lot are how they can get back the money. And for that, sometimes I still don't know how to answer. Like, I can provide them with the knowledge about scams and scam business, scam scholarship, but really for the laws and how to fight them back, or how to advise them to not think about the money that they lose, but focus on how they will move forward with their scam. Sometimes I still struggle with that, but I don't know how to say.
It's important to remember that today there are new options for money recovery, especially if they sent the money as cryptocurrency. Most of it can be recovered now, but there is just a process that they have to follow, and they can learn about that on our website, romancescamsnow.com. You know that our romancescamsnow.com website translates into Vietnamese. I imagine it's not a very good translation since we rely upon Google to do the translation for us.
Yeah,
But
I tried the translation on that website, and it was like still give you enough information. You can still understand. Yeah.
okay, that's great. So what I want to say at this point in time, because we're arriving at the end of this segment, is I want to say thank you so very much on behalf of all the victims of Vietnam and the work that you do to try to help them. I want to congratulate you on being an inspiration to other victims. And I know how hard this is to recover from this experience. And still, how long has it been since your scam ended?
1.5 years ago, at the end of
But
2020.
but it still makes you emotional. We see that. But thank you so much for talking about yourself and about what it's like to be a victim in your country and in your culture. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for providing me an opportunity to share my own experience because I don't talk a lot about my scams to people here. Like I already told you, because there are a lot of part of the stories I don't share with my friends and husband. So like joining the call and sharing my story, part of my story like this, sometimes really helpful. Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for letting us record this. So I'm going to wish you a good Sunday night there, and we hopefully will see you in our support groups in the very near future.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And I want to thank you for joining us today for this incredible interview and the insights and information about how scams work, the experience that victims face after the scam, and insights into ways in which both SCARS and society as a whole can make the process easier for victims and present better options for their emotional recovery after these events occurred. This video is copyright 2022, Society of Citizens Against Relationship Scams, Inc. Thank you for joining us. For more information about SCARS, visit againstscams.org. To learn more about scams and scammers, visit romancescamsnow.com. If you're insisting on looking at scammer photos, visit scammerphotos.com. And of course, to report scams, report them to the Federal Trade Commission, to the FBI through ic3.gov, and on the SCARS portal, anyscam.com. Thank you for joining us today.